Well, we're now standing at Traitor's Gate, possibly the most famous, possibly the most infamous gate in the world. This was built during the reign of Edward I as he required a safer and more useful entrance into the tower. Rather than try and go for the narrow, crowded, twisted streets of London where convoys could be attacked, stores stolen and prisoners set free, he decided to use the River Thames as a highway. He had a hole punched through the outer defensive wall so that at high tide boats could pass through these gates and unload their cargoes in safety. And therefore this was originally known as the Watergate. So, if as I have said it was the Watergate, how then did it become known as the Traitor's Gate? Well, that was down to the large numbers of alleged traitors to pass through those grim gates during the Tudor period. Among them no less than 3 Queens of England: Queen Anne Boleyn, Queen Catherine Howard and Lady Jane Grey. And high dignitaries of the church were no exception. Those and many more poor unfortunate souls would have travelled out from their trials at the Guildhall or the Palace of Westminster, passed through these gates and climbed these stony steps. Here they'd be met by guards and escorted through the archways and off to their cells to await whatever fate had in store. And for some it would be a short journey to their place of execution. One of those horrible cells was in the infamous Bloody Tower. There it is. Originally known as the Garden Tower, its name was changed to the Tower of Blood or Bloody Tower during the Elizabethan period to commemorate the many tragic events that have happened within.
Didn't like your tea.
You're not paying it.
Where's Daddy?
We're finally going to
It's an interning.
Și cum ajung să salut în engleză. Și dacă sunt români, zic hello!
Foarte frumos. Ne-am făcut astăzi, ne-am dus în London Eye. Am mers pe Taminsa.
Astăzi am ajuns. Mai avem.
Frumos tare! O să vă placă!
Mulțumim.
Cătălin Aurel.
Leaders tour I've done. One day after they
Okay, we're now standing on Tower Green, the village green of the Tower of London. But unlike most village greens in this country where you'll find a cricket pitch or perhaps a mill pond, we've got our own private execution site. And that horrific sight! Not you, madam. Marked by that small glass memorial and is not to be confused with the public scaffold outside on the hill. 3 Queens of England and some others were executed in this area. But before I tell you their stories, I'd like to describe a few of the buildings that surround us here on the green. Now behind you is the largest and oldest of all our towers. That's the White Tower, and work began on that site in 1078 under the direction of a monk called Gundulph of Beck, and it took 20 years to complete, although the windows were later added by Sir Christopher Wren in the 17th century.